Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Habla su amigo Erik Morales, alias el Uyuyuy. Hoy tenemos un invitadazo, estamos en Phoenix, Arizona y tenemos al jefe de jefes de Top Rank, a quien le tuve que pagar 50 pesos por la entrevista. I pay 50 pesos for the interview. Okay, Todd Duboef. It's the first time when I pay something for the interview. Gracias, es la primera vez que pago 50 pesos por la entrevista. Pero nada, Todd Duboef, el presidente de Top Rank. Campeón.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oye, Todd Duboef, ¿por qué el boxeo?
What do you mean, why boxing?
Sí, ¿por qué te dedicas al boxeo? ¿Qué te motivó?
Well, first of all, I was born in Las Vegas, so I was around boxing. And being in Las Vegas as a kid, the town stopped when boxing came to Las Vegas. So I loved watching boxing. I saw Sugar Ray Leonard, I saw Larry Holmes, all these fights. So I've always loved the sport.
Oye, Bob, Todd, ¿cómo empezaste en el boxeo? Pues, ¿te gustaba? Ya me contaste que te gustaba, era emocionante para ti, veías a Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, pero ¿cómo entraste a este difícil negocio?
Well, I got my start through Bob Arum. And meeting Bob Arum in the late 80s when he started to be dating my mother. And I was kid, and I was like, this is amazing. I love the sport. I think it's interesting. I love sports and I love media. So I would try it out, which I started in 1993.
Oye, estabas en Top Rank, bueno, iniciaste con Bob Arum, y empieza tu historia en el 93. En el 93, déjame sacar cuenta rápido, en el 93. ¿Cuáles fueron tus primeros peleadores que firmaste? Yo recuerdo más o menos Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Erik Morales. ¿Quién más?
Well, I think, it was at the early on, we had just signed Oscar in 1992.
Okay.
So it was early on. So I was experiencing the Golden Boy, the Olympic gold medalist, come on, and I joined in 1993. I don't think that any of us at Top Rank take responsibility in one fighter. I think we all contribute to the signing of a fighter. For me and you, I took more of an interest because Top Rank hadn't jumped into a Mexican national fighter at that point. We had Oscar, we had Michael Carbajal, but we really hadn't been in Mexico with somebody. And you were one of the first ones we did in 1994? 95.
Pero para antes de que vayas conmigo, porque ya te veo que quieres hablar de mí, a mí me gustaría más que habláramos de la historia, de tu trabajo que has hecho en Top Rank, del trabajo que has hecho con cada uno de los peleadores. ¿Qué les ves? ¿Cómo los escoges? ¿Cómo decides que es el que tienes que empezar a apoyar? Porque pareciera una casualidad, que no lo es, que todos los que agarran son grandes peleadores.
I'm not going to take responsibility for that. So I think timing is everything. And I think at different points of my 30-year career, I've seen opportunities. And we saw an opportunity with Puerto Rico in 2000 with Miguel Cotto. And we signed all the Olympic team then because we had just did Trinidad and De La Hoya. We saw the interest. In 1996, I was in Atlanta when I signed Floyd Mayweather. There was something special, you could just see it. And a lot of times, my age at the time, 30 years ago, I was in my 20s, was closer to those athletes. So I shepherded them, I helped them in giving some guidance and being a contemporary. And that's why you relate to me and those fighters, because we were more the same age.
¿Qué crees que fue o ha hecho difícil la relación de trabajar ahora que de repente pues tomó decisiones Cotto de irse, Floyd fue el primero, luego Cotto, Otros terminamos nuestra carrera con Top Rank. Pero, ¿qué es lo más difícil de trabajar con todos ellos? O de un boxeador.
Well, a lot of it seems to be that when we do our job really well, they see the success. If we don't do our job well, they usually stay around for a lot longer. It's when we do our job well, other people come to them and they say, hey, we should go do it over here. We should do it ourselves. Let's do our own promotional company. Let's do our own thing. And that has been, from Oscar to Floyd to Cotto, a history. And you're never going to stop an athlete from exploring other options, right? And when the contracts are up, they can go out into the market and see what their value is, and they can come back to you. But as long as they do it under they don't breach their contract to go explore, that's respect, right? And I think when you have a contract, you respect each other's contract. And when he's a free agent, if I can't provide for you and you're respectful, then I understand.
¿Cuál es el secreto de Top Rank para saber llevar la carrera de cada uno de los boxeadores que tiene?
I think we don't have one skill set. I think we have an incredible team. And Bob has given us the ability to grow that team. So today, we are much bigger, much more autonomous, much more skilled in adapting to the new times. So we have the best matchmakers that are great at seeing the right fight at the right time and putting and developing. And then we have, a team today, and a team that is able to capture content and distribute it and use our social channels and create our own content around the athletes. And all of this are part of the elements in today's world that you need to do in order to be a promoter. We don't manage fighters. We are giving you a platform to show your skills.
Cuando se fue a HBO, vi que hubo una caída en el boxeo, ¿no? Y de repente llegó Tazón y Top Rank parecía que se quedaba a la deriva sin tener cómo seguir trabajando. Y vi que apostaron por sus propios pay-per-views, y vi que empezaron a diseñar estrategias hasta que llegaron al contrato de ESPN. Y después de hacer un balance de las dificultades, yo veía que tenían a los primeros lugares de las listas de libra por libra, tenían a Crawford, tenían a ¿cómo se llama? Lomachenko, tenían a varios en la lista. ¿Cuál tú crees que ha sido la mejor época? ¿Las nuevas generaciones con la nueva tecnología o el pasado?
Well, there are a lot of questions you put into one thing. So, mucho. So HBO didn't leave the business. Basically, we looked at the business with HBO and saw that they were an entertainment platform, not a sports platform. And we felt we had to move on. We had to make the move. So we were investing in keeping the fighters active, going forward, but also creating an opportunity for us on a bigger platform like an ESPN or a Fox or an NBC, anybody. The premium channel had no commercials, and it was really set up for Sopranos and Sex and the City and all the great shows that they have.
Yes.
Not sports. So we made the move first to go do that. About a year later, HBO went out of the business. Give me the other questions. I've completely...
No, y que una vez que estaban en HBO, veo que hicieron su propia plataforma. De hecho, presentaron peleas tenían a Pacquiao y estaban haciendo pay-per-views con Top Rank pay-per-views.
Well, I think you know, times have changed so drastically with, you know, even movies. People don't go to the movie theater anymore, right? I think there's a different higher limit that you have to do pay-per-views. In your era and in part of the early 2000s, we were going to pay-per-view more often. I think you're seeing less of that, and I think you're seeing more bigger distribution, free to air on ESPN. Let people see it, let the social platforms, let these kids go across and reach a bigger audience. And pay-per-views are more selective, right? And, you know, we're seeing a lot of challenges and headwinds in all of content in entertainment. And I think, you know, boxing has been resilient. It's embedded fans are used to paying for content, but I think you have to find out which ones are the good pay-per-view fights and which ones you give for free.
Ha habido muchas épocas. Estaba hablando con Bob de la época del circuito cerrado, luego estaba hablando del pay-per-view y ahora estamos en la época de las plataformas. En todas estas eras ha habido grandes campeones y Top Rank ha sido partícipe de grandes eras con grandes campeones. ¿Tú cómo ves el futuro de la televisión y del deporte con Top Rank?
I feel like I'm interviewing with the Wall Street Journal here or CNBC.
No.
Listen,
voy a regresar a las preguntas correctas.
No. So I mean, this is the riddle for everybody. This is the riddle for soccer, NFL, NBA, everybody. Where is the future going to be? And we are right now in the middle of, you know, seeing legacy media, Fox, NBC, CBS, Disney, ABC, all of these platforms are under the microscope. They're getting a lot of pressure on them. So I think there's a balance, and I think the future will be a balance. But I do believe devices, we're going to be watching more and more content through devices. And the distribution of that is going to be with partners that are connecting to multiple people. We used to need networks or cable operators to get to the home. And I think today you're just going to see way more people being able to be connected through devices and watching content very easy. No logging in and all these hurdles and waiting for your credit card to come through. I think they're going to make this more seamless and easier and easier. And I think we're all going to be able to, you know, watch sports because the shows that we watch today on the streaming devices are not, they're not you don't have to stop during the day. You can go over the weekend and you can just consume a whole bunch. With sports, it's the only thing live to get the action. So I think you're going to see more connectivity to bigger audiences through more and more streaming.
Todas estas preguntas van basadas en dos cosas. La primera es que Bob dijo que siempre ha apostado por los jóvenes. Y dos, porque el tiempo que trabajé contigo, siempre eres muy emocionado, siempre estabas hablando siempre te escuchaba hablar de tratos, de negocios, de la televisión, de la tecnología y de los nuevos avances del boxeo. Ahora la pregunta es, tú que has vivido en el antes y en el hoy del boxeo, antes de trabajar con los boxeadores y ahora que trabajas de cerca con ellos y que conoces a muchos, y que en la nueva ciencia, en la metafísica, en el metaverso, hay peleas que se van a poder hacer presente contra el pasado. ¿Qué peleadores te gustaría enfrentar? ¿Cómo te gustaría? ¿Y quién crees que ganaría?
Well, we do this all the time. We don't need the metaverse in boxing. We do it in the office all the time. Who do you like at 130 pounds, right? Do you like Julio Cesar Chavez, or Floyd Mayweather? Who would have won, right?
Right.
We ask these questions all the time. So, I think that's part of my learning, right? It's part of my learning, right? It's part of my, sitting with my matchmakers that have 60 years of experience and understanding what yesteryear looked like and how good are the fighters today. So in my 30 years, I can make matches. I said something very, very poignant and very direct to my matchmaker. I said, I thought that Inoue was one of the best fighters I've seen in my 30 years. He has incredible power in both hands, speed, IQ, defense, and he fights aggressively, right? Those elements were special to me. And so that's just looking backwards, how far, who could he take out? So I think there's just a whole bunch of different options. But I think today's fighters, I think the sport is getting bigger with the youth, which is good. Our number one audience is Gen Z and then millennials. I think a lot of that is attributed to social platforms. I think YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all helping the youth get in. So I'm really, really enthused about the future because more and more young people are watching combat sports and boxing.
Tú estás muy cerca de la mayoría de los peleadores. Estamos próximos a Olimpiadas. ¿Quién ves en el futuro ahí? ¿A quién estás escaneando?
Honestly, I don't know because the Olympics are just starting to get going, and there's the tournaments before the Olympics are get going. So our matchmakers and scouts are out there, and they're telling us what's going on. I'm not that close to it now. I think the last Olympics we did a really good job. I mean, we were fortunate. We ended up signing most of the United States team, and you have Keyshawn and Richard Torres and Tiger Johnson and Shushu. He wasn't on the team, but Shushu that came out of there. So you have a lot of really good talent, and Duke Reagan, and Troy Isley. So we'll see how it plays out, right? And I think, hopefully, the Olympics are going to welcome boxing again, which I'm understood they are because of the previous issues they had with AIBA. And that's great for the sport because that is the foundation of the next generation.
Fíjate que hablando ahí de lo que estaba pensando en algo. Bob es muy dado a ser muy aventurero. Y yo te veo a ti más organizado, siempre más como siempre viendo las oportunidades que realmente hay. ¿Cuál ha sido lo más, digámoslo así como, no tan cuerdo, medio loco, que han hecho en Top Rank o Bob, y que tú dijeras, uy, eso no está tan ordenado y haya sido un éxito?
Manny Pacquiao. I didn't see it. Nobody saw it. I mean, he was like, this guy is going to be something special. Manny Pacquiao. He was like, I'm telling you. It was so, and we were like, what? And he ended up, and not just ability, but his popularity, right? How he transcended the sport, right? He became so big. I didn't see it. I don't think any of us, at the time we were like, are you serious? Saw what he had saw. Now, there's a bunch of strikes he's also had too, right? Where he thinks something of somebody and he doesn't make it. And all of us have that. But Manny Pacquiao was the one that surprised me and most of the people in the office the most.
Sí, está muy chiquito, cuando te va a sorprender. Pero, oye, ya casi para
But you
finalizar.
beat him so easy the first fight. So easy.
Sí.
You used that jab.
Yes,
and
yes,
then in the
yes.
12th round, you said to everybody, I just want people to have fun. I want them to put on a... You had the decision done, and he has to go toe-to-toe with him in the 12th round.
Yeah. Do you like?
Of course I like, but yeah, I
So,
mean, but you didn't have to
what
make
is
it
the
so
problem now?
difficult. You didn't have to make
What
it so
is the
difficult.
problem? All people tell me, why you doing this in 12th round? I say, why not? ¿Por qué no?
I mean, it's your passion.
Es mi pasión, exacto, sí.
It's your passion. It's you know, we talk about it. You're in your DNA.
Yeah.
Huh?
Los mexicanos tenemos esa parte, ¿no? Que nos dicen, no, ¿por qué no? Puedo ir ahí. Pero bueno, oye, ¿cuál ha sido la pelea que más has disfrutado en general en toda tu carrera, antes y después de que estuvieras trabajando en Top Rank?
Enjoyed. That's a. There's so many different ways, right? You can talk. I enjoyed the world stopping for Mayweather Pacquiao. That was a big moment, right? Terrible fight, but it was a big moment, right? I felt proud to be in boxing. I've enjoyed so many of your fights. I've enjoyed, you know, Fury and Wilder 3, which was a fantastic heavyweight fight, as pure fights and energy. I loved, you know, personally, most recently, when 95,000 people were at Wembley Stadium with Tyson Fury, to see the sport take center stage and that many people so connected to it is amazing.
Claro. Oye, hay muchos jóvenes y sobre todo mexicanos que nos están viendo que siempre se preguntan cómo llegar a las grandes empresas, cómo llegar a que un promotor como Top Rank o las otras empresas que haya los puede ayudar a representarlos. ¿Qué le recomiendas? ¿Qué tienen que hacer?
I think, find a really good team, find a really good trainer and team that can help you from the beginning, teaching you the skills, right? And just going out there and learning how to be a fighter. That's number one. Number two is you can control your own destiny today with social media, right? You can get on YouTube, you can get on Instagram, you can start posting videos of yourself. And we are now seeing so much content of fighters that is from YouTube channels, right? That we're constantly looking at. And I think just understand that those platforms will create opportunities. The more interest and the more you can capture and show people what you're doing, the more people will be able to find you. But stay with the system. Don't give up. Stay in school, right? Get a good education, but also know that you have to go forward with your career and do the amateur system. But you can now get exposed much quicker than Erik Morales could, right? Erik Morales, I was in Los Angeles, and somebody told me there was a kid in Tijuana, Mexico, that was selling out in Tijuana. It was word of mouth. I don't need word of mouth and no more, right? We have all the social platforms.
Sí. Oye, y ya para cerrar, ¿cuál es la próxima estrella que va a tener Top Rank?
I don't think there's one. I think there's many. And I think it's, if, you know, I always say this. I said sometimes I used to feel like I wanted it more than the athlete, right? I wanted it more. I wanted the win. I wanted them to become successful. And I think there's so many different kids that, you know, young athletes that are on the rise, but have to stay dedicated and have to, you know, determined and work on their skill sets and be focused and trust, right? Trust the system, right? Believe in it. And I think that we have an incredible young roster of talent, and I think we're always looking for more young ones.
¿Algo que le quieras decir a la afición mexicana?
Why only Mexican fans?
Bueno, a todos los que hablamos español.
Well, I mean, I'll say this. You know, Bob told me when I came in the business, don't ever get emotionally attached. Be careful of being emotionally attached to a fighter. And I came in the business, and this guy meant a lot to me. Okay. Great champion, classy individual, great family man, and we went through a lot together. right? We went through a lot. There was no ambulance after the first Morales-Barrera fight, and I had to take him to the hospital with his brother in the back seat, and he looked like E.T. His head was like this, right? Remember?
Yeah, right.
And those connections and him being authentic and truthful with me, and you know, when he wanted to continue to fight, he gave me his reasons. When he wanted to go somewhere else, he gave me his reasons and was truthful. I appreciate that, and I wish there were more people like him in the sport.
Dile que han sido mis 50 pesos peores invertidos.
No. Take it back.
That's right. Tratos son tratos. Pagué por la entrevista. Gracias. Amigos, muchas gracias. Su amigo Erik Morales, Todd Duboef, presidente de Top Rank. Muchas gracias. Saludos.